The 2021 PIAA Football Championships on PCN are brought to you in part by Alvernia University, American Dairy Association Northeast, and by Wise Markets. The following is a PCN Sports presentation.
A gray, dreary day, not doing anything to dampen the spirits for our PIAA 3A football championship game. A rematch of 2020 defending champion Central Valley. The Warriors arrive with a perfect 14-0 slate. Wyomissing Spartans looking for a little revenge from last year. They are 15-0. Very pleasant good afternoon. Welcome to Hersheypark Stadium for day 3 and a final of the 3 days of our championship coverage here on PCN. Mike Zambelli, pleased to be joined by Jim Wills. Jim, a little bit of a different day. I mentioned there's a slight drizzle falling, but a dampness to it. But kind of on the warm side, should be a terrific football game here.
It should be, and rematches are always interesting, Mike. They're very tough to predict, and you had one team that went home victories last year, and another team this year that's going to come in here and try to upset that apple cart. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but they're very, very tough when you have rematches. Mark
Lyons is the head coach of the Warriors. They, of course, were a winner in this game a season ago, winning by a final of 35-21. It is the third straight appearance in this championship game. They finished runner-up in 2019. He's in his 12th year. As I mentioned, they are a perfect 14-0 on the year, and the reason that they're here again is their defense, giving up just 8.4 points per game, and it all starts with number 50, Sean Fitzsimmons, in the middle.
Yeah, Fitzsimmons has had a great year. He's a Pitt recruit. He leads the team with 114 tackles, 47 tackles for loss, 21 sacks, 81 quarterback hurries, and he also won that famous Bill Fralick Award for the outstanding lineman in the WPIAL.
Yeah, you look at his numbers, they're almost like video game. You've got to pinch yourself when you look at them. Turn our attention now to Wyomissing. The Spartans a perfect 15-0 under 35th year head coach Bob Wolfram. They were the 2012 AA champions when they beat Aliquippa, of course, runner-up a year ago. This is a team that runs that wing T, and they do it very well. Tommy Grabowski will be in the center of the action.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that's done a great job this year. He leads the team with 184 carries, 1,362 yards, and 26 touchdowns in that potent Wyomissing running attack.
Take a look at their locations in terms of their on the map of Pennsylvania for Central Valley. Their school colors are Carolina blue and navy blue, located on 160 Baker Road Extension in Monaca, Pennsylvania, Beaver County. They are about 30 minutes from the Pennsylvania-Ohio State border. School established in 2009. They've got about a 4-hour trip here to Hershey, 247 miles. For Wyomissing, navy blue and white, their colors, located on Evans Avenue in Wyomissing, Berks County. School established back in 1908, about an hour's drive on Route 222, separated by the two schools, separated by about 290 miles on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, about a 4.5-hour drive. Take a look at their road through the brackets in the tournament, and both teams dominating throughout and really arrive on schedule. For Central Valley, beat Elizabeth Forward 51-0. North Catholic in the District 7 final at Heinz Field, a 37-point win there, and 14-point win over Central last week, the District 6 champion. For Wyomissing, beat Boiling Springs in the District 3 final by 41, knocked off District 2 champion Scranton Prep by 21, and Newman Goretti, the District 12 winner last week, by a final of difference of 36 points. Jim, these are two teams that have dominated their opponents. It's going to be interesting to see as this goes on, if this is a tight game, which team reacts better in that scenario.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Two great defenses going at one another, and that's going to be the key. Who can give the most? It's going to come down a lot to the offensive line on both sides of the field, and it's going to come down to special teams. I really believe that's going to be a big play on special teams, could turn the tide in this ball game.
Another similarity for these two, as these playoffs continue, they have now both beaten a state champion champion that has already been determined. Wyomissing, of course, knocking off Southern Columbia during the regular season. And for Central Valley, they've got a win over 4A champion Aliquippa.
And that's credit to the coaches to go out and get some quality competition besides their normal league schedule. These guys have gone out and won against the best and beat the best this year. So that's really a feather in the cap of both teams.
On paper, this could be the matchup of this tournament this year. We're going to send you down to midfield for our coin toss and national anthem.
All right, both teams, congratulations to being here at Hershey for the state finals. You guys won the toss. Wyomissing won the toss and elected to defer. You will be receiving, correct? Yes. You'll be kicking to the board.
Yes, sir.
You got to put your backs over here. You're over here. Receive. Shake hands, bring your teams out, ready to play some football.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you please rise. Gentlemen, if you please remove your hats. We ask all military personnel who are serving or who have served our great country, if you'll please render a hand salute as we honor the United States of America, salute its leaders and members of the armed forces with the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, to be sung by Central Valley High School senior, Miss Jordan Herman. Ladies and gentlemen, we present with pride and much gratitude our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
48 minutes to determine a AAA champion here as we are at Hersheypark Stadium for this battle of unbeatens, a combined 29-0 overall. Last year it was Central Valley victorious in this game by a final of 35-21. Jim, as we look at head coach Mark Lyons, they were able to kind of wear down Wyomissing, and you know, as you mentioned, Bob Wolfram is hoping that his team's a little bit more ready. He says we're a little bit more physical. We feel we're a little bit better prepared for this matchup here this afternoon. This has the makings to be a terrific football game here this afternoon. We're so very glad you could join us here live on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Temperatures in the high 40s. They are calling for it at some point to get up into the mid-60s. I don't know that we're going to reach that if that sun does not come out. So Wyomissing won the toss, deferred their decision to the second half. So Central Valley wearing their traveling white tops with the Carolina blue bottoms and the dark blue of Wyomissing as this AAA championship game is underway, and a little pooch kick down the right side, and heads-up decision there by number 17. That was John Peterson signaling for the fair catch, which you can do in those kicks. That's some good coaching there, Mr. Wills. Antoine Johnson is the quarterback for the Warriors. He's put up terrific numbers, throwing for over 1,200 yards on the season.
Yeah, he's had a great season. 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Very good ratio right there. So be interesting to see the passing and the running attack taking place here for Central Valley.
Well, Johnson and company, the offense was able to put up 35 points in their win a year ago. Motion man as they will start on the ground, and it looked to be a quarterback read. Johnson hanging on to the football, has rushed it 30 times for 170 yards and 6 touchdowns. As we look at the rest of their starters, you just met Johnson, and Landon Alexander, number 23, is the man to keep your eye on. Jones, Thompson, Simpson are the wide receiver. Jack Bible, a starter from a year ago. Karshevsky's a left tackle. Fitzsimmons is just terrific, both sides of the ball. Tanya returns as a starter. Colville and McCary, their starting lineups. That's Bible, the motion man, settling in. And there's going to be another run for Matt Merritt taking the direct snap that time. And he is close to first down yardage.
We'll take a look there at the Wyomissing defense. Avery Thompson, Neville Carter, Matthew Kramer, Jackson Miller, Grabowski we talked about in the open, Rory Philon, Jamie Jackson, Julian DeMeo, Aiden Mack, a returning starter from last year, Charles McIntyre, and Drew Eisenhower at safety.
So a different look here. Now Merritt is flanked to the right. It looks like Landon Alexander going to take the direct snap, and he's got a yard and a lot more on his first carry, twisting and fighting his way for close to 15 yards and a first down for the Warriors.
Came into this ball game with 203 rushes, with 2,166 yards, 28 TDs, all-time leader in Central Valley history for rushing with the football.
Well, and he's picking up right where he left off last year. He had a big championship game a season ago, and he is a good one. He's going to take an official visit to Albany at the conclusion of this weekend, and here he is dragging a defender with him. Contact was made about a 5-yard gain, pulled him for another 5, and another first down for the Warriors.
You know, we talked about how that offensive line is going to play such a big factor. You see big number 60 rolling out there. Dante Santilla, he does a good job of getting himself out front there on the offensive line, getting a good block on the front.
Matt Kramer, the junior outside linebacker, ultimately coming up with the stop. Direct snap again to Alexander, and he's into that second tier. And fighting his way, he's inside the 10-yard line, a rush of close to 20 yards and another Warriors first down.
That's going to be a big key here. Take a look at, getting him in that Wildcat gives you a lot of options to go with, and he is really, really quick in that second tier as he gets that acceleration.
It remains Matt Merritt, who is the off-back in the backfield. He's the guy calling the play, and now Alexander, as they stay with the same set, giving a hand signal in terms of the snap, and this time better resistance by that Wyomissing defense. Wyomissing just terrific defensively this year, giving up just 8.4 points a game, and better in the tournament, giving up 7.4 per game. They have held 10 opponents to under 7 points or less on the season. So the Warriors threatening here with the game's opening possession. Second down and goal from the 7, and a couple of guys moved here. It's going to cost the Warriors 5 yards.
Well, that's what happens when you start moving people around. That time Matt Merritt was at the quarterback position, so a little bit different cadence. Get the offside.
Start. Number 11, offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Thomas Gibble joined by Leonard Baker, Dennis Riprish, Ryan Gibble, Jeremiah Johnson, Robert Knighting, and Kenneth Williams. Moves the football back to the 11. This time the direct snap to Merritt. Merritt able to get 5, and they're going to spot him out of bounds. Well, give him the 4-yard line.
Well, they put Alexander in motion to that right side, and then he goes back to the opposite side, thinking that they're going to get everybody to shift to that side. Good recovery by Wyomissing, but not enough until he gets inside now. It's 3rd and 4.
Charles McIntyre coming up on the tackle. Alexander remains the point man in that backfield. He's getting ready to take the direct snap, and he's looking to go off right tackle, probing, and is not going to get there. Maybe forward progress of about a yard. And decision time early in this championship game for Mark Lyons.
Take a look at it here. You're going to see he's looking for a spot, but great job of holding ground by Wyomissing inside. Nice job with the final tackle there by number 7, J.J. Jackson on the bottom of that pile.
Serafino DeSantis is on to attempt the field goal. 19-yard attempt, and it's going to be blocked. Kick was a little on the low side, and the Wyomissing defense will deny the first deep penetration for the Warriors.
Looks like J.D. Thompson came in there for the, 7 J.J. Jackson coming in there for Wyomissing. Take a look at it here as he's going to split through, get that hand up. That right hand blocks that football. Nice job by J.J. Jackson, the senior.
Jackson, part of that defense, 41 tackles, a fumble recovery. He's recorded a tackle for loss. Huge block of the field goal. DeSantis is having a terrific year. 7 for 9 on his field goal, including a long of 43. He scored a total of 106 points. And now to work with that wing T offense, and a gain of 13 and a first down on first carry for number 22, Tommy Grubowski.
The guy we talked about in the open did a very, very good job on that.
Benjamin Ben Zekman, the quarterback, his brother guided the program to the title a year ago. Thompson, Grabowski you just met. Eisenhower also terrific as a runner. Carter, the split end. Mack, the tight end. Williams, Miller, DeMeo, Aikman, and Ziegler, the down linemen. They do such a terrific job, Jim, in this offense of moving and creating all kind of looks for the defense.
They do a great job. It's all about angles, misdirection. There you see number 10, a nice job by Amory Thompson. He's one of the guys that was in this ball game last year. Greatly improved as a blocker as well.
Central Valley defense, and it starts with number 50. I mean, those numbers for Fitzsimmons are just off the chart. Tanya's a returning starter. Karshevsky's the nose. Merritt, the outside linebacker. Brett Fitzsimmons, the strong safety. Bauer, Bible, a starter from a year ago. Jeter, Thompson, Wilson, and Alexander, the corner. Wilson, the rover, will roam things defensively in terms of that linebacker position. Here's the fullback getting the call, and that is very close to first down yardage. 22 Grabowski on the carry.
Once again coming in here with 184 rushes, 1,362 yards, and 26 TDs. Also 6 receptions out of the backfield, so he's very productive on that offensive side for Wyomissing.
Well, Jim, we referenced it with both head coaches in terms of what you could take and learn from last year's meeting, and Mark Lyons said we don't see this Delaware wing T. He said so at least for the guys who were with us last year. It's not just our word. They saw it a year ago. And getting a better look at it here. This ball thrown and may have been caught, but well out of bounds. That was a dangerous throw and a dangerous decision by Ben Zekman.
Yeah, Zekman was under a lot of pressure back there. They really got through the line quickly that time. You're going to see, look at the pressure coming in. They got him inside, outside. They force him into a situation where he's got to throw the ball. Nice job there by number 53, Jackson Tanya. He did a good job all year, 109 tackles in his situation, so he's very, very productive on the rush.
Well, there were a lot of guys over there, weren't there? 5 guys, 3 defensively, 2 on offense, and look at this on 4th down and 1 from inside your own territory. The Spartans will go and meet at a yard and will get 2 to keep the drive alive. Gutsy call here early in this football game.
Well, I think this is one of those things when you were here last year and you lost. This is one of those things I'm not going to regret any decision I make. I'm just going to go. I'm going to push the envelope, and this is one of them right here early in the ball game.
Well, and I think all the coaches feel that in this environment, when you need a yard, we need to be able to produce, especially if you're Wyomissing in this offense that they run. That has to be part of their attack. You know that they feel that they can always get that, but this early in a football game, a lot could go wrong there. This play is going to be stuffed for little or no gain.
Well, they had a little problem there on the transition with the handoff, and that gave this defensive line, which is very, very tough. We talked about very, very good on the inside. Jackson Tanya again being a good job of blocking up that hole for Central Valley.
Tanya, two-way starter, was a starter in last year's game, second on the team with 109 tackles. It was actually a loss on first down, something these two defenses are very good at. Appeared to be some movement. I thought I heard a whistle, Jim.
I don't see any indication there.
There's some movement at the top of the screen.
See how they're getting in there now, Mike. And this is what Coach Lyons said. His group, his front group, you know, obviously Fitzsimmons is the big one right there. But the thing is, they got other guys up there that are just as well, and they play well off of him. And as he said, they raise their level to what he does.
27 tackles for losses for Jackson Tanya. Their play is going to stand. They run the inside reverse, handoff winding up at the hands of Thompson, who is fighting, or Grabowski, who is fighting for extra yards.
Well, they ended up, Mike, on a fumble. Grabowski ended up with the balls that bounced off the turf. And that's a big break right there for Wyomissing. Take a look at this right here. You're going to see that inside handoff. And then you're going to see all of a sudden a strip comes out as the ball flies out. Again, Tanya stripping that ball out. And a good recovery there to get that ball by Grabowski.
It looked like that knee may have been down before the ball came out, but it didn't matter either way as Wyomissing was able to recover it. Still, Jim, you would think a pretty successful possession there for the Spartans as they were able to at least flip the field position here momentarily. 3:17 to go in a scoreless opening quarter.
I'm Dave Williams, your host here in Pennsylvania Country Roads. Come join me as we travel throughout the countryside of Pennsylvania, places that you love to see, the people you love to meet, and of course, the many wonderful things that go on in our state. All this and much more every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. on PCN TV.
Refuel with chocolate milk. The American Dairy Association Northeast is proud to sponsor the 2021 PIAA Football Championship scoreboard. Head coach Mark Lyons, a graduate of Monaca, 1983. He's a middle school teacher in the Central Valley School District. As his team gets his hands on the football for a second time, Matt Merritt on the keeper.
Well, this is going to be the key, as he told us before the game. They want to get ahead of the chains. They want to be in a good situation offensively, and a very good, get them in third and long defensively. So he's doing a good job here, being able to move the football with Merritt.
Merritt and Landon Alexander continue to run the show from that quarterback position. They have each taken their share of snaps. Here's the speed sweep to De Niro Simpson. Simpson racing to the outside and is into Wyomissing territory. A gain of close to 25 and another first down for the Warriors.
Well, you see Simpson, a junior, 5'8", 130. Not big, but look at how fast. He makes that nice move to the outside right there. That was a great move to get himself up into that outside lane.
Just 12 carries on the year for 65 yards for the junior.
Gives him a different look there, Mike. That's the key. That speed sweep gets him to the outside, gets him into that space, and that was nice.
Now they have 56 rushing touchdowns and a whopping 27 passing. So Central Valley has the ability to beat you in a lot of ways. Here is Merritt on the keeper.
And I'll tell you what, they are getting some big blocks downfield. That's the key as well. Jackson Tanya is playing very, very well. He just flattened somebody in the secondary for Wyomissing all the way down the field. So they're getting some good hits. I said this game's going to come down to that offensive line. Who can impose their will on each other? And obviously so far it's been Central Valley here.
They have moved the ball well, moved to within the red zone, inside the 10, had a field goal blocked to keep this a scoreless football game as we were down to about under a minute 40 to go opening quarter. This time out of the I formation. Alexander, boy, he has such good feet. Able to dance his way out of a tackle and picks up another Warriors first down.
He does a nice job with his eyes. You can see the way he's ready to pick and choose. Now watch, not there. Nope, I'm going to go not there. I'm going to go back up to this lane. So he made 3 different adjustments on that run, the sign of a great running back move.
Football spotted at the 31-yard line. 2,166 yards and 28 touchdowns coming in. Again, we'll take an official visit to Albany, looking to continue his football and academic career as well. 1st and 10. It was Alexander again, and this time may have lost a yard. Fortunate if they spot him back at the line of scrimmage. Terrific play defensively along Charles McIntyre, number 20, one of the young men in there. First contact was made by number 7, J.J. Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson does a good job of getting inside early. Alexander had a big week last week, 212 yards on 18 carries, 2 touchdowns, 98 and 3 yards. So you got to bottle him up, and you know he's going to be a target for the defense.
You know, this defense has been tough to rush the football on. They allowed just 88 yards a game defensively in terms of the rush. And Central Valley is proving that they have the ability to move it on the ground this afternoon. Pass falls incomplete. Will bring up a 3rd down and long. Simpson checking in, the junior wide receiver, just moments ago had a nice run on a speed sweep. Would think they're in 4-down territory here, but if you're Central Valley, you'd like to pick up some positive yards, and it is Simpson again on the similar play that he just picked up 25. He's going to get a couple, but it's going to bring up 4th down. Wyomissing is claiming that football came out, and they have it. No signal from the officials, and the play is going to stand the way it is.
Well, that time Simpson decided to go upfield rather than get to the outside. Wyomissing did a nice job boxing in the outside, so they forced him inside, got some more help, and that play did not develop and get what they wanted.
A scoreless first quarter as Central Valley will ponder a 4th down when we return.
When you need care, you need it fast. But you need it done with a gentle hand. We make caring an active choice, so you feel it the moment you walk in the door. Or when you log in. Urgent caring means we always listen to your needs and put you at ease. No matter what you walk in for, we'll make getting better feel better. It's what we do, because every chance we get is a chance to show we care. MedExpress. Urgent caring.
Ever wonder what it's like to live in Crawford County, Pennsylvania? Join us in December to uncover every corner of a region rich with history, culture, nature, all waiting for you in Crawford County. Explore the Keystone State with PCN, one neighborhood at a time. Watch Pennsylvania's Neighborhood, Crawford County, December 13th through the 17th. Visit PCNTV.com for more. PCN is everything Pennsylvania.
Revisit last year's championship game here, 35-21 in favor of Central Valley. Amir Dudley finding Javen Thompson for a touchdown early in that contest. Wyomissing's Zach Zegman, who is now at Richmond, finding Andrew Brunner. He's at Ithaca, but it was this young man who was the difference. Landon Alexander with a score, and then the sweep to the left side. as they would go on and win the program's first state championship, atoning for a runner-up finish the season before. 35-21 was your final a year ago. As we are back to work here on fourth down, the Warriors unable to come up with the necessary yards. Thompson on the catch, but up out of coverage was Rylan Jeter. And the Wyomissing defense, Jim, will once again deny Central Valley after some pretty good penetration.
Yeah, very good defensive stop there. They needed to get that stop there and really did a nice job of boxing in on the runs and keeping everything inside tight so they could get some help.
Zekman up under center, tries to hand it off, and little or no gain in the middle of that defense. Again, it was 22, Grabowski getting the call. Tommy is one of their captains, one of four for this afternoon's game.
And you see again that this guy's playing a whale of a game on defense. Jackson Tommy so far, he's been in on almost every single stop so far here for the Central Valley defense.
183 tackles for losses as a team, 66 sacks, 21 interceptions, and 10 fumble recoveries. They have really been disruptive defensively. There's a sweep off that wing tee. Initial contact made by number 6, Matt Merritt.
You take a look, they're trying to go a little bit of a reverse right there, trying to use that opposite side of the field. Got a couple of good yards, but not before a big bring down there by linebacker Brett Fitzsimmons.
Thompson getting the call. Thompson, a senior. And Maury, one of their captains, 95 carries, 885 yards on the year. Third down and 5. They'll go to a toss sweep. And looking for first down yardage, and getting there is Drew Eisenhower. Eisenhower, 5'11", 185. He's rushed for 853 yards.
There you see big number 74, Javen Williams out front, 6'4", 310, pulling out front on that sweep. So that's the situation he's getting looks by a lot of big-time colleges, Michigan State, South Carolina, Kentucky, to name others. Penn State looking at him as well. Pitt was in this week, so he's getting a lot of different looks. But when you got him coming on that sweep, that's an awful big help to get that first down.
Good athlete. He's a thrower in the track and field team as well. 6'4", 310 pounds, and he runs well. Wyomissing offense now is starting to gain a little traction, getting into rhythm. That is Grabowski again on the carry. Wyomissing during the course of the season to average a little over 44 points per game. That number down a little bit in their postseason run, 42.2 per game. Coach Wolfram, a 1968 graduate of William Tennant, went on to receive his teaching degree at Westchester, graduating in 1972. Grabowski again, that's a run of close to 8 and a first down for the Spartans.
Landon Alexander on the tackle, but not before a nice game. They're getting Grabowski to that second level. See the good blocking inside. Great block inside by Charles McIntyre. He's a reserve running back that inside makes a nice move right there to get him a good block and get upfield.
And a breather for number 22 is Grabowski, two-way performer. Usually try and rest those guys on offense when they can and get some other guys in there an opportunity to get a carry at the offensive end. Football just shy of midfield. Try to sweep it near side with Thompson, and there's nothing happening there. Boy, avoiding negative plays in this game, Jim, is going to be awful hard.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very hard. And the thing of it is, sometimes the plays that take a little bit more time are the problems here, as Merritt comes up with a nice stop there again. But the thing of it is, you know, the connection, the sequence in that offense with the wing tee, very, very important. You can't get any kind of delay, or it's going to give this defense an advantage.
Still no score. Approaching the midpoint of quarter number 2. Rematch of the 2020 championship game. Two teams combined 29-0 on the season. There's Thompson again, and he's going to find nothing, just not getting a push off that right side. pick up on our conversation with Mark Lyons, and he talked about, he said his defense getting a look at all of the movement that this wing T offense can present for you, and he just seemed to share with us that he's a lot more confident in what his guys in white are going to be able to accomplish here this afternoon.
And that we talked about it, and there's two ways of learning. You can hear it or you can visually see it, and that visualization, when you see it on the field and in the action part, has really been a help for them, having done that last year in the championship game.
Well, third down and a little more than 9, I should say. Go to the inside reverse, and again it is Thompson who's getting the call. But again, there's white jerseys waiting for him there.
Again, off the bottom of that pile, number 80, Jack Bible, one of the guys that played in this game last year. He talked about there's a couple of guys, 6 on each team basically, that played in this game last year. You see Bible come right around there and wrap up and pull down. They've been very, very good defensively.
Jordan Karszewski was involved in that as well. Number 67, concern here now for Jack Bible. As we do get a stoppage of play, you mentioned Bible. He was a starter a year ago. Starts both ways this afternoon at linebacker and tight end. He will leave under his power. I think we'll see more of number 80 here this afternoon. He's a good one, a senior. They have 12 of them on their roster this year, 68 total, 22 juniors, 14 sophomores, and 20 freshmen getting the opportunity to see what it's like to come to Hershey for a championship. And I mentioned they are making their 3rd straight consecutive state championship game appearance, first time in program history. And the split in the first 2. On 4th down, Wyomissing is going to have to punt the football here. Kick, a wobbly kick that's not going to net a lot of yards. Official spot is going to be at the 35-yard line. 6:55 to go, scoreless between Central Valley and Wyomissing. We're in the second quarter.
Brought to you by Penn State Health Sports Medicine, the official healthcare provider of Penn State Athletics. We help athletes of every level, from weekend warriors to pros, prevent injuries, recover faster, and get back in the game. Penn State Health Sports Medicine.
Did you know you can get a copy of this program? Shop PCN offers you exclusive PCN programs on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital download. Visit PCNTV.com today to start your collection. Shop PCN has everything Pennsylvania.
Stream this championship and more anytime, anywhere, on demand with PCN Select. Learn more about PCNTV.com. Roller coaster here in Hersheypark. Central Valley in possession in the scoreless game. Antoine Johnson now has taken the field. He was listed as their starting quarterback. They've been running a lot of wildcat, and Johnson drilled as he let go of that football. And fortunate that falls incomplete was a Maury Thompson, who was shaken up on the play, coming off the edge.
Thompson, one of those starters from last year, comes off the edge unblocked, does a great job sticking the shoulder inside, but then as he goes down, looks like he comes up holding either his wrist or his hand there, Mike. I don't know which one.
Boy, it was just good technique. You notice the way he had his helmet to the side. He didn't lead with the helmet. But as you mentioned, Jim, something happened when he came down to the right arm. Hand, we won't speculate on it. The bottom line is Wyomissing Central Valley very fortunate that ball wasn't intercepted, because it was up for grabs. Thompson, one of their captains, a two-way starter at running back and cornerback. He's got a number of carries offensively. 5 carries, 12 yards. Not looking great right there, although he's kind of clenching that fist. Hopefully we'll see more of number 10, Amori Thompson.
He's been one of the most improved players. Coach Wolfman said that he's done a great job of improving his blocking from the years past, and they've really put a lot of pressure on him this year to be a performer up front.
Returned to kickoff, 98 yards for a touchdown earlier this year. And of course, when you mentioned blocking, one thing we've learned about these coaches that run that wing T, you better be able to do that or you're not going to get your carries.
You're their favorites. That's what's going to happen there because they love guys that can block in that wing T.
Short gain on second down, going to bring up a 3rd down and 6.
They've gone to Alexander a few times in the Wildcat, but I don't think they're going to do that this time.
Johnson remains in the game and drops back in a shotgun formation. They have moved the ball. They've had some scoring opportunities, but so far that Wyomissing defense not allowing them into the end zone. And Johnson back to throw, has plenty of time, now running out of it. Trying to extend the play and finds a man open. This is Alexander who lost his footing. Wonderful defense by the Spartans. I mean, you talk about defending the entire field. There's a great example of it.
Yeah, and they can go sideline to sideline. Excellent job. Neville Carter involved in that from his cornerback position. There you see they have everybody covered. Look at assignment football. You have people beaten down right there. J.J. Jackson right there at the end. And then again, going to that backside, Carter comes up with the stop.
Nevin Carter, the starting cornerback. He was a starter in last year's game. I mean, that's just a terrific job of not getting too excited. The assignment football coaches like to use the term. And it'll bring up a 4th down. Pressure on the punter, and the kick gets away. Nobody there to field it for Wyomissing. And kind of just tumbling around. It'll be down at the 36-yard line.
He just got that punt off in time, too. Nevin Carter was right there. That was within the grasp of a block, and that's what I said in the beginning of this game. It's going to come down to a turnover, possibly on special teams, and that might have been one there. That was close.
Bryce Wilson serving as the punter for the Warriors. Well, you and I were discussing sitting up here. Do we see an offensive battle or do we see a defensive battle? I think we're getting our answer.
It's starting to play out that way, obviously.
They've both been great, averaging over 45 points a game or thereabouts for both of them, and both of them giving up a minuscule 8.4 points of contest. And in trouble here, and a heads-up decision there by Ben Zeckman to avoid what would have been close to a 15-yard sack.
You see a good job by number 11, Matt Garovic, coming in there off of his linebacker position. Puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback, creates that opportunity to throw that ball away. That's big-time pressure. He saw he was rolling back to throw a pass, and not many times you're going to see that out of this formation, so he knew right away that he had to get there and put on some pressure.
Second down and 10. Zeckman under center. Go to the sweep. And a little bit of running room here. That looked like 20 McIntyre. McIntyre in for Amori Thompson. McIntyre is a junior. He's got a kick return of 81 yards for a touchdown this year. 63 carries, 450 yards.
So he's done his point. You know, you'll see the yards distributed very, very well amongst all the backs in this wing tee. That's the thing that's nice. If you play in that wing tee and get a lot of options, you know, a lot of different people can get their hands on the football. So he's one of them that takes advantage of it.
The run making it a much more manageable 3rd down attempt. 3rd down and about 4. McIntyre again, they try and load up this side, but boy, nothing doing there. Stoned at the line of scrimmage was Grabowski. And that will bring up a 4th down and probably the punting unit for Wyomissing.
Again, Jack Bible doing a nice job coming off the edge. Now watch, he's going to come off the edge, boom, and then the thing of it is he shoots inside. That's a nice job by Bible. He is very, very strong, tough to handle inside. 6'1", 205. Very, very strong.
Now over 100 tackles on the year, third in the team with 21 tackles for loss. Tell you, if you're a youngster out there and wanting to learn how to play that linebacker position, there was a pretty good example of it right there. Pads low, fair catch executed by Javen Thompson. So we continue to kick it back and forth to one another here. Two defenses dominating this AAA championship game, and I can't be surprised. You and I were going over the numbers. I mean, like I said, they're video game like. You kind of think, talking about 140 tackles for losses by a defense during the course of a 15-game season. That is dominating.
Yeah, neither team has seen a defense like they have out here this afternoon, and that's why we knew coming in here it was going to be this way. And boy, both teams are really living up to that scenario right now.
Well, when you look at the 29 wins that these two have, between the two of them, there is only one game that has been decided by less than 10 points. And that was Central Valley's win over Aliquippa in week 3 of their season. That was a 21-12 final. Every other game for these two has been won by double figures.
Yeah, they've done an outstanding job.
Legal procedure, 74. Offense. First down.
Of scoring points and not giving up points. I mean, it's been the ultimate situation, as you see. This penalty now being called. Very few penalties. Pretty clean game so far for both teams.
Bob Wolfram, those of you from back in the Lehigh Valley familiar with Moravian football, very good friend of former head coach Scott Dapp. I'm sure Coach Dapp's actually tuning in here this afternoon to his former teammate there at Westchester.
Legal procedure, number 74 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, and you see what happens here, Jim, with these two defenses is, Don, they make you edgy then on the offensive end. Now they've been doing a good job for Mark Lyons. They've moved the football a little bit, but all of a sudden you start to have that frustration set into it. Now they're back to a 1st and 20.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're calming them down here right now. We said it's been pretty penalty-free so far, so you don't want to get into a situation where it just keeps backing up and backing up.
Direct snap taken this time by Brett Fitzsimmons. Brett is the younger brother to Sean Fitzsimmons, who we talked about in our open defensively, and we asked Coach Lyons about the two. He said Brett could not be more different. He says he's the one that's got a little edge about him. He might, be a little bit more rambunctious. He said Sean Fitzsimmons is your perfect gentleman. Go figure, the way he plays and the numbers number 50 puts up.
Oh, you talk about video game numbers, absolutely.
Yeah, you have to look at him twice. 114 tackles, 47 tackles for loss, 21 sacks, 81 quarterback hurries, 81 quarterback hurries. That's how you win the Bill Freilich Award. Top interior lineman in the Whippeal area.
And that's with every classification of the Whippeal. That's the thing that's such impressive about it. It's not just for this division, it's for every division of the Whippeal. You have 6 candidates, and then you get the vote between all 6, and he won that award. It's the top one from all those different classifications.
Timeout on the field, still scoreless, 2:49 to go here. I mean, this is what is intriguing, and Jim, this is one of the things that you mention all the time. You have two teams that have come in here and dominated their regular season and playoffs to this point, and now all of a sudden you get into this environment here. It brings in another intangible to the game.
Yeah, it does, and sometimes it brings in tightness, and that's what I said. Usually you see that tightness evident on a special team mistake or a special team play that goes for a touchdown, a punt return, a kickoff return, something like that, because defensively they're matched up very, very well. And the thing of it is, especially in this rematch, they know everything about each other. There's not a lot of secrets that they can do. There's not a lot of things that Wyomissing did this year different than they did last year. There's not a lot of things that Central Valley's doing different. They're pretty much doing the same things, a little tweak here and there, but they're pretty much doing the same thing. So you had a carbon copy and had a footprint to see what you were going to go against. So that's why I think we have the score we have.
14-0 win over Middletown. Closest game for Bob Wolfram and his Spartans. Beat Southern Columbia 41-21. He called it one of their best games in program history, really. And you win in Catawissa, that's certainly easy enough to understand. Thompson on the reception here. Look at that swarming defense. by Wyomissing.
Great job by number 15, Matthew Kramer, the outside linebacker. Has 38 tackles on the season. He's done a good job of not going out of his position. He stayed home. That's exactly what you want to do. He squares up, and then he takes on the ball carrier. Nice job by Wyomissing. You see all 4 defenders in that screen right there. They're doing a nice job of flowing to the football.
Nevin Carter makes a nice play there as the corner doesn't make the tackle, but kind of sets that edge to make sure that play stays inside. I mean, these two teams are really fundamentally sound defensively, and we're getting a good look at 2 terrific defenses here in this first half.
And both teams are having a hard time getting people in any kind of space, and that's the thing that they want to do. That obviously right there for Coach Lyons was a play he wanted to get somebody out into space and get him into an opportunity where he could get maybe some running ability out there on that sideline. But boy, both teams are so quick to be out there and so good defensively and sound. Sound fundamentally is really the thing that comes out when you look at both of these teams.
Mark Lyons' squad, a couple of 62-point victories on the year. They've won by 23, 35, 49, 42, 44, 37, 41. Playoff wins by 42 points, 51 points, 37 points in the quarterfinals, and last week a 14-point winner over Central, 35-21. That's a pretty dominating season.
Yeah, they've done a great job of really dominating opponents, no question.
Wilson on in punt formation, and he is a good one. High twisting kick, fielded at the 41-yard line by Eisenhower. Eisenhower avoided the first wave, but tripped up and taken down just shy of midfield. So a very good opportunity here for Wyomissing to break this scoreless tie. Time a factor, 2:28 remaining first half. Wyomissing has just 1 timeout remaining. Central Valley has all 3 of theirs on the board. Tommy Grabowski has set up on the left side, and he's going to try and provide some interference. Good news here to see Amori Thompson back into the football game. He was shaken up a couple of plays ago.
Yeah, you need all those 885 yards he came in here with. You need all that kind of opportunity, and he's quick to get to the wing, and that's what I said. They're trying to get to the outside, trying to get to that space, and that's probably one of the better runs we've seen here in a while.
You see big number 74, Jevin Williams down there. Coach Wolfram said he does such a good job for his size. Again, 6'4", 310. He says he's really good at latching onto and getting those smaller defensive backs and safeties once he does get downfield. But he was good 5-6 yards out in front of that play.
Yeah, he's very, very quick for his size, and that's the deal. And when you're that big at 6'4", 310, being quick on your feet is the thing that gets you all those college offers.
They're going to pull him again. He's trying to lead interference, and he's doing a good job of it. Plowing his way forward is Grabowski. That's going to be a first down for the Spartans. Take a look at big number 74, lefty, 74, left of your screen.
Yeah, see, he thought he needed the block there, but he didn't, and then he goes downfield right away. He's very, very quick on his feet, gets down there, gets a nice block there at the end.
It's a treat to watch, a big guy like that and have that kind of mobility. Of course, if you're a Wyomissing fan, it's a treat. If not so much, I guess, if you're rooting for Central Valley here. Fresh set of downs for the Spartans. They've moved it inside the 40. Sweep this side. Thompson not finding much going on there. Forward progress might give him a 2-yard gain.
Again, this is very tough territory to run with Fitzsimmons on that inside area. You know, he's going to plug up that hole. He's going to do such a great job. You know, we talked about, you know, he did this kind of statistics last year as well. So it's not like this is a one-year wonder with him. He's been very consistent through his career having those kind of statistics.
Well, Coach talked about him being an all-stater, obviously, and probably could have won that same award a year ago, except it's only for seniors. Nothing gaining here, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 9. Time now 1:24 and running. Central Valley had the best scoring chance in this first half. It was on the game's first possession. Took the opening kickoff, moved down inside the 5. Were forced to try and settle for a field goal attempt, and it was blocked. This is an official's timeout. Just one timeout for Wyomissing. Looking to throw here. Zekman, and falls incomplete. Well covered. 3 white jerseys in the area, including number 10, Brett Fitzsimmons.
And he's lucky he got that off because they were coming off that edge again from the opposite side of the field. They just didn't get there in time. But again, here's the pressure. See them coming both ways. Inside. You see the big move by Fitzsimmons inside. You see the pressure coming from the outside. You know, that's the thing. Matt Merritt and Fitzsimmons, that's a really strong combination.
You know, and you look at that, and you didn't get a sack. You forced an errant pass, but you're really making the quarterback uncomfortable in that scenario. They will go for it on 4th down. Zekman under center, just barely getting that pitch off. Look at that defense played there. Grabowski had nowhere to go once he had the football, wrapped up by a number of guys defensively, including 11, Matt Gurkovac, who is now in the game at linebacker for Central Valley.
Well, the thing of it is Fitzsimmons almost gets this pitch, Mike. Watch, look at, he has nobody get him, which and I know they're going to abandon him because they want to go to the sweep on the outside, but he caused that to be pitched a little bit quicker than normal and almost got the pitch himself.
Tough game to be productive rushing the football if you can't block that guy who's right over the center. So Central Valley will take over in downs, and they go back to that shotgun formation, and Landon Alexander is not going to get anywhere. Anyway, if you like defense, you're loving this AAA championship game.
Yeah, we knew it coming in that you were going to get a lot of good hits. J.J. Jackson on the side for Wyomissing that time, 6'3" senior, doing a nice job getting a little adjustment there with the helmet. But I'll tell you what, they're such mirror images of each other. They don't really make that much of a move. And as you can see, Mark Lyons a little frustrated now because I think his offense, they've been mercy ruling everybody. They mercy ruled 11 out of 14 opponents during the year. So, they've really done a good job of keeping that offense under wraps.
Stay with us. Coming up at the half, Doug Heater and Brandon Noble will talk about this first half. I got to believe Brandon Noble, a defensive guy.
He's loving it.
He's loving what's going on.
He's absolutely loving it.
He's having the time of his life here.
He's down there. This
is football right here. This championship. We come into these things, Jim, and we say defense win. There's Brandon Noble. Former. Good afternoon, guys. Doug Heater.
Oh, he's going to bring this tape back and show this to his team. This is how the game is played. This is exactly what I want you guys to do.
Yeah, he don't like hearing those numbers, 47 points a game offense and getting up into the 60s. This is old school Pennsylvania State Championship football. Doug Heater and Brandon Noble coming up at the half. 2nd down and 9. Going to take an odd play action here, nowhere to go with it. Are they going to rule this a pass? They are indeed. That was very close. Pressure coming from number 85. That was Aiden Mack.
Aiden Mack's another guy who played in this ball game last year, so he's a veteran of this championship game.
Intentional grounding, number 15. 5-yard penalty.
You and I have discussed this. This is the rule in high school football. I mean, even if there's a guy there, if you are trying, I mean, he's close to being down there as well, too. That's just a dangerous decision all the way around. That's a little bit of a break for Central Valley, Jim.
I'll tell you, Aiden Mack did a nice job. 6'4", 220. Look at the speed he shows coming off that end. That was very, very quick movement for him. Got to the quarterback early.
Negative play all the way back to the 22-yard line. I'm not surprised if we're going to see Alexander get it here a little bit more. I mean, he's a guy who can take it the distance. He's going to get about 10 of it back here. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. Wyomissing does have a timeout. I would think they would use it here to force Central Valley to set up in punt formation, and they indeed will. 26 ticks to go, and Bob Wolfram's guys, 35th year, 337 wins against 85 setbacks, 1 tie. He retired as a phys ed and driver ed teacher back in 2005, 33 years in that role. We talked about Jim Roth, and congratulations to him and Southern Columbia winning the title, but both of them talking about being in this role right now. Really good health for both guys. They're just enjoying being around the youngsters, and they have all the time in the world to work on football. But I think the important thing, Jim, is they said we also have time to be a family man as well and go home when you don't have that full-time job.
Yeah, it's a really nice situation to have, and both of them have that situation. It's like being he said it, he made the reference, it's like being a graduate assistant. You go in the office during the day, you put your work in, you get your schedule ready for practice, and then you're able to do whatever you need to do otherwise, and then you can come back in the afternoon and have practice. So he said he's really enjoying it.
Wilson in punt formation. Amori Thompson has settled in back inside his own 40. Thompson certainly a threat. 98-yard kick return for a touchdown earlier this year. Good snap from center, and a nice job of executing in punt formation. Thompson is surrounded by a host of white uniforms. Will get out of bounds. There might be. And hit came late, and now the flag comes. As that tackle was made a good 5-6 yards once Thompson was out of bounds, and shaken up on the play was Gurkovac. Yeah, got to play the whistle. Got to play the whistle.
Good call by the officials.
Yep, have to play the whistle. That's an easy one for the officials.
Like conduct. I'm going to kick it, team number 11. 15-yard penalty. 1st and 10.
Well, in a game of this magnitude and how difficult it is to pick up any yards, anytime you can give somebody 15 free yards, that's not good. It comes with 14 seconds and an opportunity for Wyomissing to take a shot downfield. And they'll play it close to the vest. Handoff to the fullback Grabowski, who was tripped up after no gain. They're going to let it run out, and it will indeed be a scoreless first half in a rematch of last year's championship game won by Central Valley. The Warriors and Spartans battle to a scoreless tie. When we return, Doug Heater and Brandon Noble will take us to halftime.
The 2021 PIAA Football Championships on PCN are brought to you in part by Alvernia University, American Dairy Association Northeast, and by Wise Markets.
What makes a bank? Busy branches, hidden fees, these, and of course these. That's why PSECU is not like your typical bank. We're the member-owned digital alternative that puts people over profits, with over 450,000 savers and spenders. And while we don't do these, we will treat you to financial tips and tools. Because when you gain the confidence to achieve your goals, that's us achieving ours. PSECU. Members achieve more.
Brought to you by Penn State Health Sports Medicine, the official healthcare provider of Penn State Athletics. We help athletes of every level, from weekend warriors to pros, prevent injuries, recover faster, and get back in the game. Penn State Health Sports Medicine.
When you shop at Wise, you now get rewards points for almost everything you buy. From cranberry sauce to coconut, butter to brown sugar, and coffee to candy canes. And all those points add up to big savings on food, fuel, or even a holiday ham for Christmas. Saving money? That's smart. Earning points every time you shop? That's Wise.
Eat better, spend less. That's wise.
Ever wonder what it's like to live in Crawford County, Pennsylvania? Join us in December to uncover every corner of a region rich with history, culture, nature, all waiting for you in Crawford County. Explore the Keystone State with PCN, one neighborhood at a time. Watch Pennsylvania's Neighborhood, Crawford County, December 13th through the 17th. Visit PCNTV.com for more. PCN is everything Pennsylvania.
We welcome you back to a gloomy Hersheypark Stadium in the 3A Championship on a day fit for maybe an Edgar Allan Poe story or two. Why not? Of course we've got a 0-0 game. All we need is some mud and some blood and some dirt and some grass. We'll bring you back to our studio here at halftime. Doug Heater along with Brandon Noble. And Brandon, guys were talking about it. Yeah. While we would like to see some points, because we maybe don't want to see overtime for the first game today, he's loving this, man. This defensive game, right?
This is great. I mean, look, these two defenses right now, Doug, are absolutely flying around. They are getting to the ball carriers so fast. Like, there's no place to go. I mean, the tight coverage, the holes are closing fast in the run game. It's a lot of fun for an old D lineman to watch. There's no doubt about it.
We'll talk about possible adjustments at the end of halftime here, because that's an interesting question of what these teams are going to do. Both of these teams came in knowing that they needed to run the football, especially Wyomissing, a team that runs that wing T under legendary head coach Bob Wolfram. But let's take a look at some of the offensive highlights, and there's not many of Tom Grabowski in this first half, and a lot of this is early on, and I mean, they're running their stuff. They're running their pullers, they're running their counters, but they just can't seem to get things going, even though 4.6 per clip is decent, but not over the long haul.
Yeah, and what you're seeing, right, is even those either highlights, right, the defenses are converging so fast. These are good, tough runs. I mean, right there, you see Grabowski, right? He's pushing the pile. That was 4th and 1. Everything he can do to earn these yards, getting hit quick and just grinding it out. Again, eventually, one of these guys are going to pop.
Yes.
As you see him right here, gets around the edge, does a good job. Everything is earned right now. Everybody that has the ball is in danger.
And we really got to give credit to both of the defenses, and really especially Central Valley, a team that is not used to and doesn't play during the regular season, a wing T team, and they've been able to make the adjustments so far with Mark Lyons, and he said he learned a lot from last year, and their defense has played well. Meanwhile, offensively for them, Landon Alexander, who comes in with big numbers, he's had some nice runs, especially when they put him in the Wildcat, but again, consistently, it just hasn't quite happened yet today.
Yeah, no, Landon Alexander, especially early in the half, right? They kind of got him going to that Wildcat formation, direct snap to him. He's hitting the ball between the tackles, and he's a home run hitter. He's a guy that if he gets through that second level, he's going to score. But again, a lot of credit to both these defenses, but the Wild defense is doing a great job getting contact, hitting, swarming to the ball. Again, highlights, but they're getting tackled 7-8 yards.
Do you think, are we seeing anything change? I mean, other than maybe some slight tweaks and maybe you see a little bit more buck sweep out of the wing T or some more pullers or counters, I don't know if either team, right? I mean,
this is who they are.
They want to lead, but this is who they are. I don't think you're going to see the teams pass much different.
No, I don't think it's going to change a lot. Something's going to happen, right? The wing T has a couple wrinkles. The Wyomissing's going to sit down and go, what are they doing? How do we counter that, right? And on the other side, I do think you've got to kind of get Alexander going offensively for Central Valley. Just feed him the ball and see what happens.
One of the things that Wyo had trouble with last year was when they ran sweep, when they overloaded, when Central Valley overloaded outside. At least so far, it looks like they've been pretty good taking away the outside run along with that inside run.
Yeah, great fundamental defense going on out there right now. Both teams swarming to the football, great tackling, multiple hats on the ball. I mean, this is textbook. It's teaching tape. I love it.
Well, the sun can't come out. It's got to stay like this because this is old school in the dirt football. 0-0 at the halftime break in the 3A championship between Wyomissing and Central Valley. More from our halftime show right after this.
Alvernia University and Reading Collegetown, now offering 3 new engineering majors or enhanced business and communications programs, plus one of the largest athletic departments in Division III for both men's and women's sports. Learn more at alvernia.edu.
Because. 2 syllables, 7 letters, so much meaning. Because is an explanation, an answer to the question why. It connects where we've been to where we're going. And at Highmark, the road ahead is altogether new. We are reinventing healthcare because it can be simpler, smoother, because it can do more. Get ready for healthcare that goes beyond care, because life. Highmark, Blue Shield.
A lot has changed since 1932.
But one thing that hasn't is Faulkner's commitment to Central PA.
Our organization is built on values like honesty, integrity, and trust.
Our prices are low and transparent.
Our buying experience is fast and easy.
And we're active in the community, supporting our friends and neighbors at charitable events, local games, and fundraisers. We remain committed to you and our community, to be sure.
When you shop at Wise, you now get rewards points for almost everything you buy. From cranberry sauce to coconut, butter to brown sugar, and coffee to candy canes. And all those points add up to big savings on food, fuel, or even a holiday ham for Christmas. Saving money? That's smart. Earning points every time you shop? That's Wise.
Eat better, spend less, that's Wise.
Welcome back, Pennsylvania. High school sports have returned across the state. As teams compete this season, they all have one goal in mind: the PIAA Championships. Watch all of your favorite high school sports championships in one place on PCN. Learn more at PCNTV.com. PCN is Pennsylvania sports.
Commemorate the 230th anniversary of the Whiskey Rebellion with special programming on PCN. Featured episodes of Its History, PA Books, Battlefield Pennsylvania, and Keystone Cuisine explore the role Pennsylvania had in leading the rebellion. Watch this on December 20th through the 23rd on cable and streaming on PCN Select. Learn more at PCNTV.com. PCN is Pennsylvania history and culture.
Support PCN by texting PCN-TV to 877-907-9770.
Halftime here at Hersheypark Stadium across the state of Pennsylvania on PCN in a 3A championship between two undefeated teams in the Central Valley Warriors and the Spartans of Wyomissing. We welcome you back once again, along with Brandon Noble. I'm Doug Heater, and this has been a tremendous defensive battle. Now, you and Deggs had an opportunity last night, and I watched the 5A championship last night. I won't tell you what time I watched it because it wasn't live. I can tell you that. It was later, but I did watch the whole game. Hey, great game last night between those two teams, and really kind of fitting on a Friday night to send it into overtime.
Yeah,
Good
definitely.
effort.
Penn Trafford and Imhotep Charter played a great game last night. It was a little slow in the first half. The first quarter was 0-0, and then they got some running game going and great defense, and it was an absolute just slugfest all night going into overtime. Yep. I mean, you can't beat it. That's what it should be.
Yeah, great game in the 5A championship. Let's take a look at how things got going. And first, it was a fumble recovery. This was early on, and Nye White got the fumble recovery on the first possession for Penn Trafford. Did not lead to anything. Now, Conlon Green, who we're going to see a little bit later, had a couple of big plays. This is big early on defensively. He makes a play in the backfield. And then Maurice Beverly, he's going to make a play on Yacomelli, who was the hero too as well. Good defense to start things out by both teams.
Yeah, these teams were absolutely striking each other. You see Yacomelli coming to kind of return the favor right there against a very good running game. And again, you get Stewart, they put him in anytime they got down close to the goal line and ran sweeps 2 times down there, kind of that wildcat formation, scored 2 touchdowns.
Stewart and McLeod, Trey McLeod, didn't have an opportunity to get any chances really in overtime. Here's a touchdown run by Yacomelli for Penn Trafford. Now that gave them the 7-6 lead because the extra point was missed by Imhotep. Then they go ahead and go for 2 and make it a 14-7 game with Stewart. To put that one up, that's with 7:29 left in the game from 5 yards out. Meanwhile, Penn Trafford, now this was on the last drive, the 2-minute drill, a pass interference, borderline. Yeah. It could go either way on that one.
It could definitely go either way. That's you throw the ball up in the air and you hope for something good happen, and it did. And then a little pop pass, a little Tebow right there. I like it. Conlon Green to Jack Jolly right there. Those guys had a great game on defense. The fact they were able to connect right there for a touchdown was huge.
Then the successful overtime extra point sends us into the overtime period. 24 yards out. The field goal for Penn Trafford and Eric Black, from Schlesinger at the field goal. And then here's the pressure. This is the final play, fourth and forever. And there's Green making the sack, and PT wins the championship in a very disgruntled, very disappointed Imhotep Panther team.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great football game, and unfortunately, only one team leaves this tournament happy. And so at the end of the day, it was Penn Trafford last night. They played a great game.
I thought for sure their head coach in John Rusney was a little disappointed when he only got the field goal, but his defense comes up big. So here's a look back what we've seen already Thursday. Bishop Guilfoyle wins over Red Bank Valley 21-14. McDevitt in a night game in 4A beats Aliquippa wins 34-27. Southern Columbia again wins another state championship in the afternoon game yesterday in 2A, 62-25 over Sarah Catholic. And then we saw the highlights in overtime, 17-14. We've got a 0-0 game here, and we've got one game left. Brandon and I will be on the call for that one. St. Joe's in Mount Lebanon at 6 o'clock tonight. That should be a great one, a great way to end the weekend for sure.
Yeah, so that 6A game should be a lot of fun. You've got St. Joe's Prep, you got Mount Leb. It's going to be a blast. Hope the weather holds, kind of stays like this, and at the end of the day, it'll be a good one.
We're looking forward to that one for sure. We are 0-0 at halftime between Wyomissing and Central Valley. When we come back, we'll send it back upstairs to Mike Zambelli and Jim Wills for the second half.
When you need care, you need it fast. But you need it done with a gentle hand. We make caring an active choice, so you feel it the moment you walk in the door. Or when you log in. Urgent caring means we always listen to your needs and put you at ease. No matter what you walk in for, we'll make getting better feel better. It's what we do, because every chance we get is a chance to show we care. MedExpress. Urgent caring.
Ever wonder what it's like to live in Crawford County, Pennsylvania? Join us in December to uncover every corner of a region rich with history, culture, nature, all waiting for you in Crawford County. Explore the Keystone State with PCN, one neighborhood at a time. Watch Pennsylvania's Neighborhood, Crawford County, December 13th through the 17th. Visit PCNTV.com for more. PCN is everything Pennsylvania.
Wyomissing has emerged from their locker room rating for Central Valley on a damp, dreary day here in Hershey. Boy, it has been delightful to be a member of either one of these defenses as we welcome you back here at the half of the AAA championship game. Thanks to Doug Heater, Brandon Noble for their insights in looking into it, Jim. But, you look at this and you talk about uncharted territories. These are two offenses that are averaging close to 45 points a game each. They're in uncharted territory. For the defenses, they feel right at home here this afternoon.
Yeah, the sweetest place on earth is the happiest place on earth for the defensive coordinators. Both guys got to be both really excited here that everything they've drawn up, every plan they've put in place has worked to a T, has really been what has shown this whole ball game in one half of 0-0.
Well, let's take a look at the stats. They're not going to be very pretty. Each team grinded out 5 first downs in that first half. There's only been 2 completed passes And they both belong to Central Valley for just 3 yards. So two teams that are trying to rush the football. They've had some success, each one of them moving. But the third down conversion, certainly that's a number that needs to change. Each just 1 for 6.
Yeah, and that's a credit to both defenses there. That's the definite stat right there that shows that the defenses are taking charge, especially when it comes down to third down conversions.
So that all adds up to a scoreless duel. I think we have some highlights we can show you here. And Jim, defense is about playing lower than the other guy on the other side of the line of scrimmage, your ability to get off blocks. And, these two teams defensively put on a clinic in that first half. So the familiarity from a year ago, has led to the defenses being able to rise to the challenge. You look at Wyomissing, undefeated season. And this football game is going to come down to the second half. There's Aiden Mack, and the numbers for him, 4 total tackles. But it's a team effort. I think whenever you have a shutout by teams, either for a half or one guy doesn't do that. That's 11 guys playing assignment football, as defensive coaches like to talk about it. Matt Kramer's another guy who's been a part of it. So the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's sort of like an unsung hero in this first half, Mike. He's got 7 tackles on that, and that's the situation that he's done a good job. We haven't mentioned his name a lot, but he's been in on a lot of different hits in that first half. And you said Aiden Mack made a great job on the quarterback on that one rush. That was really an opportunity to stall Central Valley at that point.
Of course, the big play in that first half is the field goal block by Jackson. That was the best scoring opportunity of the game. Wyomissing's deepest penetration in this football game is to the 32-yard line. Central Valley had that good scoring chance on their first possession. They went to that wildcat formation, put a couple of guys in there. Landon Alexander had success. They moved the ball inside the 5, but had a 19-yard field goal attempt blocked by Jackson.
Yeah, the thing of it is, you got to credit both defensive coordinators there for making adjustments after the first offensive series they saw, and that's exactly why you're in the situation you're in right now, 0-0, because those guys saw what they were doing. That's something that they worked on before this. Well, we could try to do this, and that got them good field position, but they still couldn't get into the end zone.
Defensive leaders for Central Valley, Matt Kirkovic wound up with 5 tackles. He, of course, wears number 11. Jackson Tanya, who was all over the place, credited with 3.5 tackles, as did Jack Bible. So their numbers, again, we're talking about defense because they earned the right to be talked about here at intermission.
And again, another point, Mike, those guys did a great job, but you know why they're doing a good job? Because the attention is being paid to Sean Fitzsimmons on the inside, who had a monster play in that one drive when he almost intercepted a lateral in the backfield. So they're getting a lot of attention to him. Those other guys are stepping up and doing a great job, is what Coach Lyons told us before the game. They rise their level to the level of Fitzsimmons.
Wyomissing won the toss here this afternoon, deferred their decision to the second half. They're going to get their hands on the football first. This is 15 games into the season. You're playing for a state championship. Jim, you can't, what kind of adjustments can you make, or little wrinkles can you maybe, does it come down purely to execution?
It comes down to execution, Mike. You're right. And I think the one thing, they might have 1 or 2 trick plays in the bag, but it's awfully tough, especially when you run the wing T and Wyomissing side, to come up with a real trick play. And it's also tough because the consistency at quarterback for Central Valley in this game against this tough Wyomissing defense has just not been there. So you're going to have another situation where it's very, very hard to get some points on the board. This is exactly where these two guys thought they would be. And this is a match right now that could come down to 1 or 2 plays here in the second half.
Two very evenly matched football teams have dueled here, and it will be Wyomissing to get their hands on the football first. Deep to receive is a Maury Thompson. He is joined by Tommy Grabowski. Serafino DeSantis is the kicker for Central Valley. The best scoring chance, his field goal attempt of 19-yard was blocked earlier. So the state's 3A championship football game comes down to half number 2. Short kick down the far sidelines, and a really good job coming up the field that way, and maneuvering along those sidelines was number 24, Drew Eisenhower. and that is going to give Wyomissing very good field position. He got that up to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, great job. I said in the first half it's going to come down to a special teams play, whether a kick return. And that right now in this ball game, that's as good as a kick return because it gives you great field position. And you know, they're going to be able to start very, very well on their side of the ball.
Well, and if certainly this game continues to go the way it did in the first half, field position is going to be very important. The shorter the field is going to give you your best scoring opportunity. Misdirection in the backfield, no running room for Tommy Grabowski. He's fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage.
I'll tell you what, Mike, it's great, and I can see where Brandon would get so excited. You're seeing pancake blocks. Look, guys are getting blocked everywhere. You're seeing pancake, guys are laying on the ground, picking other guys up with teamwork and classy situations there. This is really a rock'em sock'em situation between these offensive and defensive lines.
You know, Sean Fitzsimmons, once again, they've got him lined up over the center, and he was able to get a drive upfield. That pass going to be knocked down and will fall incomplete. Jackson Tanya, number 53, defensively there to swat it away.
Now, see, you get the great penetration by Simmons on the inside. Then you see Tanya does a great job putting that left hand up and knocking that ball down.
I mean, kudos to these coaching staff. I mean, that's the way you do it. I mean, you don't always get to the quarterback. You don't always get a sack. But when your head is in the game and you're doing the right things, you get that hand up there and knock it out of the air. 3rd down and 10 faced for Zekman and the offense. He's under center. They're going to hand it off and nowhere to go. Sean Fitzsimmons almost there to take the handoff once again, number 50.
Again, they have no answer for him sometimes. And the thing of it is, there's been a lot of times in this game where he's really been in a situation where he's free. And you can't leave somebody like him roaming around free because there's going to be the results right there.
Yeah, they move him around. They have him over the nose. They move him around. And that time, Wyomissing wasn't able to find him as well. So 3 and out for the Spartans. Low snap from center. High end over end kick. And that one's angled out of bounds, and we'll wait for the official spot's going to be just inside their own 35, and Central Valley will take over.
This will be interesting to see now the adjustments that man makes, Mark Lyons. See what kind of things he's going to do offensively. See if he opens it up maybe a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see.
Riker Jones, the sophomore punter for Wyomissing. Well, the best success they had is this lineup here when Matt Merritt was your quarterback, or Landon Alexander taking the direct snap. I look for a lot of that right here in this 3rd quarter. I mean, they had success in the game's opening possession doing that. Were denied once they got it inside the 5. That was Alexander on the carry for 6, maybe 7 yards.
And we talked about him being the Central Valley all-time leading rusher. Going to be going to take a visit to Albany, as Mike said, after this game. So he's got a lot of opportunities ahead of him. It's, a lot of people have talked about why he isn't more widely recruited, but I think you can see he has the potential anytime he has his hands on the ball to go all the way.
Listed at 6'1" and 190 pounds. It's going to depend on the spot. He's close to first down yardage. Wants to play by 15, Matt Kramer.
Yeah, Kramer, as we said, he's done a great job in that first half. He's the consistent guy in that defense who always is in the right place, right spot, fundamentally sound. Excellent job from that outside linebacker.
He's not even part of the blocking scheme on that play. I mean, he's from the complete other side of the formation.
That's what you call having a nose for the football, Mike.
We'll see if they pick up on that Central Valley and that aggressiveness and try and play off of that. On 3rd down and a short one. Boy, and it's a good thing it was as short a one as it was. It'll be a first down for Central Valley, first of this 3rd quarter.
And then one of the things you're going to see on that run is you're going to see Alexander dance a little bit. This is not a game where you can dance. You can't dance around a little bit or hesitate a little bit because the flow of these two defenses does not provide for any of those opportunities.
Kramer is really playing aggressive on this offside. He was involved in that tackle once again. Merritt remains the off back as Alexander takes the direct snap, and he's into the second tier. Big opening straight up the gut, and a run of 20 yards and a first down for the Warriors.
And see, that's what they want to get. They want to get to that second level. This time you're going to see it. Nice hole in the middle, and look at the size of that pancake block again on the inside. We talked about their line doing such a great job. We talk about the Mayo, Miller on the inside of the guard, Ziegler, those guys, Williams, Aikman, those guys doing a great job.
That was Fitzsimmons that you referenced on that pancake block, but not so successful here. Coming off the edge was 59. That's Jack Miller. Miller, one of their captains. He's the team's leading tackler, number 59, with 72 of them on the season.
It'll be interesting to see here now, again, what they take a look at offensively.
Direct snap.
And I think both coaches at halftime, Mike, when they went in there, they addressed the offensive lines. They said to those guys, you are the guys both that are going to be able to help us win this football game. We see what the score is. We see how the defenses are playing. It's going to be up to whose offensive line is going to impose their will on the defense here in the second half.
And that was Brett Fitzsimmons taking the direct snap. Alexander is back into the football game. He is in that position. And off left tackle will find no running room. That is J.J. Jackson, the senior who blocked the field goal earlier. First man there.
Jackson, very, very tough, as you're going to see. Look at how he gets that inside move. They had no ability at all to block him as he took that inside move right away. He's very, very quick.
It deserves a little celebration. 41 tackles on the year. They've handed him the ball a couple of times this year. 42 carries for 240 yards, a couple of touchdowns, but defense is his forte. That's going to bring up a fourth down, and Central Valley is at least thinking about going for it here. And now a timeout. Wow, and in a game like this, I would think that's a timeout you'd like to have in your pocket. We'll see how it plays out. And an unhappy Mark Lyons.
Yeah, they went out in the wrong formation, Mike, and he's just livid with that.
12th season here in charge of Central Valley, 124-29. He spent 7 years as the head coach at Mount Pleasant, 30-40 there. Mentioned earlier, a middle school teacher. He's got those youngsters here with him, and he said it's pretty cool. He says we have some fun in the classroom, and throughout the year, it's great to have him with us here on this trip.
Yeah, it was good to talk to him about his philosophy of the off-season and the way they've approached this the last 7 years with the conditioning and the nutrition and everything else, and the time off that they give the kids. Very interesting.
It's an interesting decision here to go for it here. I mean, if you're looking to try and squeeze out field position, a little pooch kick, but it looks like they're going to line up to go. Antoine Johnson, the quarterback, is in there. He's completed 53% of his passes. Fourth down, they need 8. 3-man rush. Johnson looking for a bunch, and his receiver slipped. He was looking for Gurovac, and he just lost his footing. Make that 21. That was Simpson on the receiving end. He lost his footing. It falls incomplete. Still no score. We're in the third.
It's interactive ice cream fun at the Turkey Hill Experience, located in Columbia, PA, just south of Hershey. Create your own virtual ice cream flavor and packaging, milk our mechanical cows, and star in your own Turkey Hill commercial. Visit turkeyhillexperience.com for more information.
What makes a bank? Busy branches, hidden fees, these, and of course these. That's why PSECU is not like your typical bank. We're the member-owned digital alternative that puts people over profits, with over 450,000 savers and spenders. And while we don't do these, we will treat you to financial tips and tools. Because when you gain the confidence to achieve your goals, that's us achieving ours. PSECU. Members achieve more.
Support PCN by texting PCNTV to 877-907-9770.
34th season for the PIAA State Championships began back in 1988. 5 former champions in this year's field, 3 looking for repeats. And Southern Columbia has already repeated as a champion. As we welcome you back, Wyomissing will start 1st and 10 from the 35, and they are just crowding that line of scrimmage. Not sure which way this is going to go. If it is against Wyomissing, and it is.
In the offense, 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, Mike, the left side of that offensive line moved early.
Refuel with chocolate milk. The American Dairy Association Northeast is proud to sponsor the 2021 PIAA Football Championship scoreboard.
And this is where, we talked about Fitzsimmons obviously a lot in this game, but that's where his presence, and they're looking to see where he's at, and then all of a sudden they're pushing linebackers in from the opposite spots. That's where they give you a lot to look for, and that's why that offside took place.
Warriors now back off a little bit, but still surveying it. Little opening there for a moment for Thompson, but boy, did that hole close in a hurry.
Great job there. Jordan Karczewski on the stop, and you're going to see, again, he demands the double team, which is good, but then you're going to see how they just really attack from the opposite side. They have such vision on their defense. That front four does a great job of looking all the way down the line every time.
Krzyzewski, 69 tackles on the year, 7 for loss, 4 sacks. 34 times he's registered a quarterback hurry. Another penalty marker out. I'll tell you, these two defenses really have the opposing offenses off balance, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and that's what I said. They're, now Wyomissing is starting to, get a little frustrated here because of the fact of, they've been called for these 2 penalties here, but that's the way it is.
Legal procedure, number 85, on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Talked earlier which team will be able to contain their composure if this game gets into something like that, and that's right where we're at, Jim. I mean, by this time in games throughout this entire year, they're combined 29-0. This has not been the scenario. They've had success. They're playing with a great deal of confidence, and right now these two offenses have really been knocked back on their heel. Here's Zekman looking to throw. I think he's not going to get the opportunity. Had nowhere to go with the football. That is number 6, Matt Merritt, the outside linebacker.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Zekman's going to have to make a decision on that quicker, because you're either out there in no man's land and you got to do something quick. Now, if you're going to decide to run, you got to go to the corner. You got to go and get yourself out of bounds. You're going to, against this defense, you don't want to be letting yourself out there to be hit in that position.
Sack back inside the 30-yard line. 3rd down and 16. They have converted just once in 7 tries on 3rd down, and 3rd down and 16. Not what this offense is built for. Zekman's looking for a man. He's got him, but it just falls incomplete. Little too long over the right shoulder of Drew Eisenhower.
And again, we go back to this: when you don't throw the ball a lot, this is foreign territory for you. So you got to set your feet, and you throw it a little bit too deep there. You lead them a little bit too much because you haven't been in rhythm the whole ball game. So that's where you suffer a little bit sometimes when you can't pass the ball as much during the game.
Eisenhower, 5 catches on the year, 124 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Riker Jones in punt formation, and this one again angled out of play. The officials spotting it on the far sideline. It will be marked just outside the 45. Great field position for Central Valley. The Wyomissing offense still has not been able to move the ball inside the 32-yard line of Central Valley. Deepest penetration of this game for Wyomissing, the 32.
I think you make a great point, Mike. Both of these teams, in the normal game this year, they're mercy ruled, and most of their substitutes are playing by this time. This is foreign territory for both of these teams right now.
Landon Alexander lines up in the shotgun, fighting through defenders, and he will rip off a run of 13 yards. That's a gigantic play offensively in this game this afternoon. 13 and a 1st down.
That's a highlight and a half right there. As you look at the hits he takes, that's 3 big hits he gets before he's tackled. He's just done a nice job of putting his head and going straight north-south running.
Took the opening kickoff inside the 5, had a 19-yard field goal attempt that was blocked. Nothing fancy here. I mean, you don't need any cards. You don't need any signaling. I mean, this is just run it again. Snap it to Alexander and let's see if we can block it.
Reminds you a little bit of backyard football, fumble rumble. They're just going to get that guy in the backfield. Let's go. And I think Coach Lyons has decided, I'm going to ride right now on the back of number 23, Landon Alexander.
Well, he's going to get a breather right here as Brett Fitzsimmons has checked back in. Fitzsimmons, 50 carries, 440 yards. Here's a different look as Johnson is in there with a full house backfield.
And that look provoked. That's going to be a little procedure there on the backfield.
Illegal procedure. Offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Well, and see, that's just, I mean, you try to do a little something different here, and that's a lack of execution is what it is. You tried to go with a old traditional full house backfield, and you didn't execute it, and you cost yourself 5 yards.
Yeah, Coach Lyons tried to give us something different, to think about something they haven't seen all ball game, obviously, and it ends up being a penalty.
So now they go back with Matt Merritt in there, providing interference for Alexander. You know, this is just, it's so tough. I mean, 5-yard penalties are almost impossible. They've been impossible to overcome here this afternoon.
Yeah, this is one of those territories. When you get defenses like this, a 5-yard difference is a major difference.
You know, you called it earlier. We have in this championship seen, 2 jump passes? I'll tell you, we might see another before this one's over.
It could be
here this afternoon.
It could be the secret sauce in this one.
Third down. It is Johnson and punt in the shotgun, and this time the pass complete to Javen Thompson.
And Thompson's been such a big factor for them all year long. He's done a great job. He had 4 interceptions versus North Catholic and 2 touchdowns in that game. So he's been the go-to guy when they need to throw the football.
28 catches, 750 yards, 9 touchdowns, all team highs for Thompson. Second time that Central Valley has had the football inside the 15. And Alexander, contact once again made behind the line of scrimmage. Looked to be number 24 in there, Eisenhower, and it was the safety coming up. And we call these guys safeties, they're hybrids anymore. They bring them up in linebacker positions. They line safeties up at DNs, especially in running games like this.
They're going to bring big Jevin Williams in here now to put him on the line defensively, to give them more beef up front.
Now they're going to go back to that full house backfield. When's the last time you have seen that set up? Alexander nowhere to go, maybe a yard will bring up third down.
Interesting setup here as they go to the last guy through, but they aren't getting nothing done at the point of attack, and that's the key right now. At the point of attack, that line has to make a bigger difference, and right now they're not.
Quarterback, a fullback, 2 halfbacks. Looks like the playbook I have from back in the 70s.
And it worked then, and it could work now.
Well, they're trying to make it work. Alexander slides over in that shotgun. Now they motion him out of there. It is. There's the jump pass. It's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Grabowski at the 2-yard line. And he's still on his feet and finally brought down at the 20-yard line. Tommy Grabowski with the interception, his first of the season.
He played it very, very well, and the thing of it is he didn't get enough loft on that pass. That was the right call. You had it down.
He didn't throw it far enough.
You're right. You didn't get enough loft on that. You see, he just needed to loft that over the top. He was intending it for number 80, Jack Bible, and Bible got through there. See, Bible got caught up a little bit. There's a little bit of a traffic jam there, and once he gets caught up, a great job with that interception by Grabowski with the one hand.
How about the athleticism for Grabowski? List him at 6 foot, 200 pounds, and for the second time in this game, Central Valley is denied inside the 10-yard line. Now, it was interesting in our chat with both coaches. Bob Wolfram talked about being denied in scoring position twice in the first half last year, and he thought that was a big difference in his team winding up on the short end of it. This afternoon, it's going maybe a different way.
Yeah, definitely a different route. And again, it's time for the other defense to showcase its stuff. That time, a good job getting early penetration there.
Bend but don't break. Second down and 8. Just a touch over a minute to go in the third quarter. Play action. Zekman extending the play. He throws it into coverage, and he's fortunate, and it falls incomplete. JJ, make that Thompson back there, number 7 defensively.
I said he had a whale of a game against North Catholic. He's very, very good in that secondary. A ball hawker, had a great year for them. Ekman that time threw it into double coverage. You're right, Mike. He was fortunate to come away with that incomplete.
I'm all right with that throw. I think anything you could do for Wyomissing just to get them guys off the line of scrimmage a little bit. I think you have to take a couple of shots down the field just to let them think that that they need to defend back there a little bit. See if it loosens anything up here on 3rd down and 8. Toss to the left side. Grabowski fighting for first down yardage. Looks to be a little better than a yard short. And I think it's just long enough. And I think you have to punt the football here. And they waited a moment or two and waited to see exactly, and they will send out the punting unit. I think if it's another half yard closer, they go for it.
Yeah, they thought about it. Coach Wilson thought about it quickly there.
Brings out the punting team. Riker Jones once again.
You got to get a good snap here because they've had pressure.
I think he's telling them not to snap it here. There is 10 seconds on the scoreboard clock, 12, so they don't have to snap the football, and that is indeed what is happening here. Time winds down. We have a scoreless championship game. We have played 3 0-0 football games, Central Valley and Wyomissing.
The 2021 PIAA Football Championships on PCN are brought to you in part by Alvernia University, American Dairy Association Northeast, and by Wise Markets. Enjoying our programming? Please consider a tax-deductible donation to support our mission today. PCN is a 501c3 nonprofit television network dedicated to bringing Pennsylvania to you. PCN is everything Pennsylvania.
Test your trivia knowledge as PCN travels to Crawford County this December. Here is your chance to win an exclusive PCN prize box. Learn more at PCNTV.com. I've got a trivia question for you. What's it going to take to win this football game here this afternoon? Oh, this has been a brawl between these two. Nice high twisting kick, and the fair catch at the 40-yard line by Thompson. So Central Valley now with the football. They've been the better of the two offensively, Jim, especially in this second half, but their inability to come away with points on 2 trips inside the 10, difference in the football game.
And when those prized possessions of being inside the 10-yard line are something that you don't get a lot of in this ball game. So very unfortunate that they got inside twice and came away with 0.
Well, Alexander is going to line up in that shotgun. It has been the formation of the day. Merritt trying to... Here goes Alexander. Slips away from a tackle. He's still on his feet. Fighting off a defender. He's finally brought down at the 25-yard line.
That was a touchdown-saving tackle right there because he had the end zone in his sights. And that's the thing. This is a great run. You're going to see right here. Goes to the left. Little hesitation. Now he sees a seam. Once he sees the seam, then he's going to do a good job of getting cross field And then all of a sudden, he finally gets taken down by number 20 there. But the thing of it is, Charles McIntyre saved the day for Wyomissing.
34-yard run for Landon Alexander. Now barking out the signals. Mishandles the snap from center. It'll be a negative play and a loss of 3.
This is one of the things that I'm sure Coach Lyons is in the same boat. This is why he's been trying to rest him every other play, Mike. You can't really go constantly in this ball game where every inch counts. And there's a fumbled snap right there. He's a tired young man after that run, so I think he's going to get a little rest, and there he is.
And they have used a number of guys there, but you can, I mean, that's the wear and tear of this football game. That is how physical and how hard fought this game has been. He has now rushed it 25 times for 162 yards. He gets a breather here. Back in at quarterback is Johnson, trying to flip it down. Pass is complete, but that's barely going to pick up a yard or 2.
Right, I'll tell you what, Mike, that was a dangerous play. That was a very dangerous play because he just got it between 2 defenders on the outside, and that's a long pass to make across the field.
Pass was complete to Simpson. And is going to bring up a 3rd down in the better part of 11. Alexander has checked back in. Team checking with the sidelines. Merritt remains the up back to the left side of the formation. He's going to try and provide some interference. And Alexander pops through. He's to the 10. Touchdown, Warriors.
Well, you knew sooner or later somebody was going to pop. You knew it had to happen. And Alexander did the job, got the rest on that play before, came in, got his breath, came in and did a nice job on a strong 4th down call right here. Take a look at it. You're going to see Merritt goes out. He gives a nice hit right there. He gives a seal block. But look at the block by Fitzsimmons. He knocked his man out of bounds in order to create that lane down the sidelines.
Landon Alexander, he's been the difference here this afternoon and finally points on the board. Extra point this time is up, and it is good for DeSantis. Now 86 for 86 on his extra points on the year.
It almost looked like he was ready to hesitate there and throw a pass, Mike, but then he pulled the ball back down and he went, look at right there, he's ready to look like he was going to throw, and then all of a sudden his great vision, and then his speed takes him right down for the 28-yard run.
Well, it's taken a while, and they've finally been able to punch through. Persistent. What a patient run by Landon Alexander. His team leading 29th touchdown of the year. We're putting together his numbers as I speak. 26 carries, 190 hard-earned yards, averaging 7.3.
You know, you're looking at a team that had 546 total yards against North Catholic this year in the Whitfield Finals. Most ever in 150 title games at Heinz Field or Three Rivers. So this is amazing that they finally got on the board.
9:54 in the 4th. Now the question remains, can Wyomissing find anything offensively? They have not threatened the end zone. Only deepest penetration, 32 yards. They could use a big return here. It is Eisenhardt, and he's going to give them what they needed. Gets a block at the 32. He's still on his feet to the 40. Cuts it back in. Eisenhardt to the 28-yard line. Delivers 1st and 10 Spartans.
That was when we talked about special teams play. A return would help, and that was the one you looked at right there because they caught them a little bit, you know, the wind went out of their sails a little bit, but then they came back and said, we got to make some nice blocks here. Good job. Great block there by J.J. Jackson. That was a big key right there and a great bit of running. This has been a very, very nice run. Take a look at it right here. The good cuts, the great blocks, a lot of good situational stuff right there. Good job on special teams.
63-yard return for Drew Eisenhower. And this is the deepest penetration of the football game for Wyomissing, and now an official's timeout. Wyomissing players are.
Legal procedure, number 24, offense.
Yeah,
Repeat first down.
Bob Wolfram's looking for an explanation here. Drew Eisenhower, by the way, earlier this year, an 84-yard kick return for a touchdown. Well, they had their deepest penetration of the game. 5-yard procedure. Handoff here to Grabowski. Lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. And again, and you can't get that nose guard off that line of scrimmage. It's hard to get anything accomplished. They're doing a really good job, Jim, of just condensing everything. And it's, you know, we talked about this wing T offense and the way there's so much movement with tackles and guards pulling and backs blocking. There's just not enough room the way they're condensing that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're right on top of you right before you can get started, and that's the key, and that's the key. It's been that way all afternoon. It's tough to even figure out who's on the tackle because there's so many people that end up converging on one guy. That's been the toughest thing in this ball game because they've just done such a great job, and it all starts with him right there, Fitzsimmons in the middle.
Thompson getting the call. You're in 4-down zone now. You're in the state final, approaching 8.5 minutes. Need to pick up at least 5 here if you're Wyomissing. Looking for a lot more than that, and they've got it. Biggest play offensively of the game. What a throw that was. And close, and it will be first down yardage.
Good job by Carter on the outside. That was one of the best throws Zekman had all day. Good job of protection by the offensive line. Really did a nice job. Look at, they squared everybody up. The big guy had his man inside. Williams did a nice job of blocking inside. Then they got that ball to Carter on the outside.
Yeah, Carter, a terrific job. 9 catches on the year, 92 yards and a touchdown. Big first down here. Play stretching out to the left side for Eisenhower. Eisenhower fighting. Look at the fight for these extra 1 or 2 yards. And there is a flag out on the play if this is against Wyomissing.
Drew Eisenhower running with the ball.
Block the ball with waist. Number 3 on the defense. It's a 10-yard penalty. Half the distance to the goal. The result will be a first down.
That's an interesting call right there.
I'm not sure I understand that. I mean, you got number 74 barreling at you. I don't know what else you're supposed to do there. I don't know that I understand that call. It'll move the football to the 5-yard line, first and goal from the 5. By far their deepest penetration, and there looked to be some movement on that left side of the line again.
Yeah, it was.
Legal procedure, number 64 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, first and goal.
35 years, 35th season. He's seen it all, and I'm sure he's seen battles like this. Boy, that's a wrong time for a self-inflicted wound. You make it that much harder. Grabowski will get the call. Bounces off a defender, and then able to drive forward and turn it into a gain of a couple. Again, it was Jackson Tanya. We've been calling the 6'2 junior's name all afternoon long.
He's had a whale of an afternoon. He has just done so much on that defensive side of the ball.
If you're Wyomissing, you have to, you don't know how many more chances you're going to get. Your first legitimate scoring chance coming right here in the 4th quarter. Zekman again under center. Go to the sweep to the left side. Thompson finds a duo of defenders waiting for him. Along with Tanya once again, the defensive end 53.
Yep, that's the thing, Jackson Tanya right there. You're going to see assignment football. Keep your eyes on where the ball is going to be. Your assignment is certain. be right there, and he was.
And again, Jim, their ability just to condense things and just close things, there's just not enough room for those linemen to do what they like in this wing T offense. Carter is split to the right side of the formation. Zekman rolling in that direction. He is in a world of trouble. Pressure came from number 6, Matt Merritt, and it'll bring up 4th down.
And they're lucky again. That might have been a penalty there because there was really not too many people in that area. Take a look at it right here. You're going to see.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't matter if there's a receiver there or not. With the new rule in high school football, I don't think he was trying to avoid a sack. I think he was trying to complete a pass there. Ian Levering is on to attempt a 24-yard field goal. Well, if this is against Central Valley, cannot pick up a first down with it.
Offsides, number 11 on the white. Half the distance to the goal, still 4th down.
Yeah, they were in a 1st and goal scenario inside the 10, so cannot pick up a first down with this call. And it'll be half the distance to the goal, so it's going to put it at the 3. And now there's a big conversation going on, and here comes the offense. That will change their thinking. Levering was successful on 3 field goals, 20, 22, and 20 on the year, but Wyomissing will opt to try and go to put 6 on the board.
Got to roll the dice here if you're Wyomissing. You're not going to get that many opportunities, as you said, Mike, inside the 10.
Zekman breaks the huddle. Play clock is down to 5. They might have to use a timeout, and they will. They'll have to use a timeout here. After all of that, and it will stop the clock with 6:34 remaining in the football game. And boy, isn't this what high school football is all about, Jim. You play, you start, your heat acclimation begins in mid-August, and you battle through a grueling regular season, survive through the postseason, and here you are in mid-December. You have the football, 4th and goal from the 3, trying to tie up the state championship game.
Yeah,
this is what you work for.
This is what you do all year, and this is why you, as Bill Parcells used to say, this is why you run all those sprints. This is why you do all those things in the weight room. These are the times right now. It's them against you, and you got to impose your will to get that ball in the end zone from 3 yards out, and that's why they made that choice. They changed their mind, and it was probably a good choice because you don't get down there that often, so you got to make it and take an advantage. And I think they're going to be trying to go behind big number 74 there, Mike. He's going to be the guy.
Well, we've seen these 2 teams fight for a yard, 2 extra yards. These are 3 of the toughest yards you're going to try and pick up if you are Wyomissing. They break the huddle. Thompson this time will wind up on the left side of the formation. 22 Grabowski is the back in the backfield, and 24 Eisenhower is on the right wing. Thompson breaks in motion to the right. Zekman is going to roll in that direction, and he's going to be dragged down, and guess who it is? Number 50, Sean Fitzsimmons, in the backfield to disrupt the play.
Again, had him by the shirt. Didn't have him totally, but had him by his shirt, which was enough to disrupt the play. He ends up being spun around, fumbles the football, and I'll tell you what, they have not had a hand for him.
A stop for the Warriors. They protect the 7-0 lead. Sean Fitzsimmons. Video game numbers: 47 tackles for losses, 21 sacks, 81 quarterback hurries. Watch number 50 get off the line of scrimmage.
He did. He got his arm in there, and that's all you need to be disruptive. Grab a hold of something. He did. Quarterback fumbles. Going to be first down, Central Valley. Great penetration.
He doesn't let you do anything. Talk about a disruptive force. And now about ball security here for Central Valley. Landon Alexander closing in on a 200-yard rushing afternoon. He rushed for over 200 in their semi-final round win last week against Central, 35-21 victors.
Last week, Fitzsimmons had 3 sacks. Recovered a fumble. He's done it all, I'll tell you, down the stretch. And boy, Coach Lyons couldn't talk enough about his ability to turn a football game around.
Alexander again getting the call. That's Jack Miller who comes up, shaken up. Let him fight to stay on the field. I mean, this is just encourage the effort, the energy by both teams. Brandon Noble talked about it at halftime. I mean, this is a game where you fight for every yard, every inch that you get. Big third down in this football game. Alexander takes the direct snap. He will not get the first down yardage. Looks to be, well, he is close. Might be close enough for a measurement where the spot is coming in. I think it's about a half-yard shy, Jim.
Yeah, I think it is, Mike. You're right. As you see, he had an opportunity, boy, just a little bit more. He might have been up through that hole, but good job of just getting them down at the end.
Look at Kramer. They're going to go for it. They've got their offense on the field. They've broken the huddle. They didn't even think about it. 4th and 1 from inside your own 20. That's if they snap it.
They almost got him to jump, too, as well.
Johnson's going to check to make sure. I don't think they can't snap this, can they?
He's timing out.
They can't go for this. 4:37.
They're putting you over the edge, Mike. They're putting you over the edge.
I love it. Well, I'll tell you, back in District 11, Northern Lehigh went for it on 4th and 1 from their own 9 in a close game in the state playoffs and got a 91-yard touchdown run. So anything is possible.
What a gutsy effort by both teams.
It really is. It really is. Well, you wondered, last year they were able to grind out the points, both of them, 34-21 or 35-21 final. 35-21 was the final. I mean, today it was the defenses. So we presented that to both coaches. What did you learn from last year? And obviously both teams defensively were able to do some things. I mean, these are juggernauts offensively. You're talking 45 points a game here, and they're having troubles picking up 3 yards in this football game, all except for number 23, that is Landon Alexander.
Yeah, he's been the X factor. He was the X factor last year as well. And interesting to see what they do here.
Looks like they're still out there. I mean, part of this is the way your defense is played, too. 29 carries, 199 yards. Johnson is up under center. They have that full house backfield once again. They need a healthy yard. And the surge out to the 20 will be enough for a first down.
Looks like he got a big push in the backfield.
Yeah, Wyomissing claiming that they have held here. Judging where the marker is and where the lineman came in, I mean, he's just close to the 20, which looks to be enough, and it is. 4th and 1 inside your own 20. That's swinging to try and win a championship, isn't it?
That's swinging the bat. You're right.
Well, and that can equate to, Wyomissing has 2 timeouts. We are approaching the 4-minute mark, and that can run at least 2 minutes off that clock if Central Valley plays it right. And here is Alexander, now up over 200 yards, 15 yards and a first down.
Well, you're going to get a deflated Wyomissing defense now. They're really deflated after giving up that first down, and you're going to see this guy pop and do what he does best. Look at that size of that hole. Excellent job up front by the big guys. They did a great job. Jackson and Tanya doing a good job on the offensive line now.
Fitzsimmons, Tanya, Karszewski, Colville, McCleary, that offensive line. a couple of first downs away from repeating as a state champion. Now 214 yards and counting for Landon Alexander. That's a run of 5, and they will take that. He's averaging close to 6 yards per carry. He's going to get a good night's sleep tonight. I mean, we've seen players, Jim, rush for 200, 220 yards, but always involved in that is a 65-yarder, a 70-yarder, or whatever. I mean, he's been grinding 10 and 11-yarders out all afternoon, and even a little less than that.
Well, the other thing with him is it's not an option when you're back there by yourself in that Wildcat, so it's not like the ball's going to be centered to anybody else or anybody else is going to get a handoff. You know where the ball is going, so that's even easier sometimes for the defense, but he's really done his job of going above and beyond.
His longest run of the afternoon is 34 yards. Just a touch shy of first down yardage. Time a definite factor, 2:40 and counting.
Looks like they might do the same thing they did in that last fourth down. Just line up and go up with this quarterback.
Well, at some point, if you're Wyomissing, you have to start thinking about using those 2 timeouts.
With that full house backfield once again. Now the flag comes out.
This looks to be against Central Valley.
Snap infraction, 53 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Yeah, watch the center here. So the ball's on one side. Yeah, that's one way. That's an important yard.
That was 2 moves.
Game.
He did 2 moves on that, Mike. Not just one. He did 2.
That's one way to pick up a first down, huh?
He said, maybe I didn't get it the first time. I'm going to put a second move in there. That was a double move, and he's not a receiver.
That's Jackson Tanya, the center. I know. 5 yards are costly right now, but obviously that's not in the rule book. They're going to try and sneak it here.
We have a timeout, Central Valley. They're set.
Boy, that'd a break for Central Valley. Timeout was called prior to snapping the football. I don't think that's the call they wanted on 3rd and 5. That's the last timeout for the Warriors. Mentioned Wyomissing still has their 2. They need to stop here, Jim. They can't allow them another first down.
No, another first down equates to probably game over.
Congratulations to Penn Trafford, head coach John Ruan, District 7 champion and a first-time PIAA state winner. The game you saw last night on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, going to overtime to beat Imhotep Charter in the 5A title game. Had 4 opportunities for teams coming in. We'll see one more this evening with Mount Lebanon taking on St. Joe's Prep. Mount Lebanon looking for that program's first ever state football championship. There were 4 that had an opportunity to achieve that this year. PIAA championship games are the exclusive property of the PIAA. Television coverage is licensed to PCN, whose exclusive rights are protected by federal copyright law. Any retransmission of any kind or other use of the television coverage of this game without the express written consent of the PIAA is prohibited by law.
Yeah, they have to bring in a different center right here. So this is an interesting call here.
So on 3rd down and 5, they will go with the quarterback snake. And look at this. A little crawl and a second effort by Antoine Johnson. And that could be the determining play. That was Matt Merritt, excuse me.
Yeah, Merritt's going to be here under center, and I said that was a very, very tough call. Look at, he put his hand on the ground. That's the thing when you know a good athlete, he knows exactly from that running back position, he knows to put his hand on the ground and get himself upfield for the first down.
I think that play right there epitomizes how hard it was to gain yards in this football game, just fighting and scratching, and that should force Wyomissing to at least use the remainder of their 2 timeouts. 1st and 10, football at the 46. Alexander's back in there. Ball security and stay in bounds. He's out near midfield, and Wyomissing will use one of those 2 timeouts. 1:23 remaining in the football game.
And it was, it was an interesting play there. They used a different center, Mike, so there's a lot of variables that came into play. And Merritt does the job on his own, single-handedly putting his hand on the ground and getting that first down.
I mentioned these 2 offenses. Checking Wyomissing, their low point total of the year was 14 against Middletown in the semifinals of the District 3 3A tournament. It was on that rainy, cold night that swept through the Northeast. Posted a 14-0 shutout, but other than that, you look at every one of their scores, they have scored 35 or more. Not been able to find the end zone here this afternoon. Alexander once again takes the direct snap. Forward progress will get him a yard. And Wyomissing will burn its final timeout. 1:18. And now need a stop here. And could maybe get a chance to get their hands back on the football, but a first down will seal it.
We talked a lot about Alexander during the day. He broke the career record of career rushing yards, held by Tampa Bay Bucs safety Jordan Whitehead. So he's been outstanding all year, and he's been putting the team on his back in a lot of these games, and he certainly did that here this afternoon.
Bob Wolfram, 35th year, state champs in 2A. 2012 beat Aliquippa 17-14, runner-up last year. 3rd time the program has been to this point. Ended Southern Columbia's better than 90-game regular season winning streak earlier this year with a 41-21 victory. Mark Lyons, the program's 4th appearance here, including 3 in a row. It's a lot of football for these programs, and Jim, you and I referenced that with all the coaches, and he said we did have to rethink the way we look at our season to make sure that we had, I mean, look at how physical this game is. Alexander's in some trouble, and he is going to be upended, but Wyomissing can no longer stop the clock. So the 40-second clock will allow Central Valley, it's now at 30 seconds. Game clock now under 1 minute. And I would fully expect, well, Central Valley is out of timeouts as well. I mean, even if you take a 5-yard penalty, that doesn't matter at this point. No timeouts for either team. Well, they're bringing Alexander back in there. They're going to try and go for it. They need a good 3 yards. Alexander is the deep back and a flag out.
Violation on the center again, Mike, I think.
Snap infraction. Number 53 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
Dunn just keeps trying.
I think he only tried 1 time this time instead of 2.
Well, Wyomissing will get their hands on the football. 32 seconds. Thompson is deep to receive. Bryce Wilson, looks like they're coming after this one. 10 of the 11 up on the line of scrimmage. Nobody back. And it is an all-out pressure and a beautiful kick. Nobody back to receive it. Bounces around, costing Wyomissing a couple of seconds here, and now quickly diving on it. Just 20 ticks left in the 3A championship game. Central Valley 5 times a District 7 champion. Evan Carter has got one-on-one coverage to the near side of this formation. Zekman dropping back, football is loose, and I believe big number 74, Jevin Williams has it.
He's still going there.
There's that mobility we talked about. He is a super athlete.
Unbelievable.
Gifted young man.
The feet are so good. Take a look again at the pass rush coming in. They're beating double teams. That's the thing. That time Fitzsimmons beat a double team, got pressure inside. Got the ball off, though, to the big man.
Longest play from scrimmage for Wyomissing today was 13 yards. Perhaps one more shot. Zekman looking for an out and up. 4 seconds remaining.
Incomplete pass off the clock with 4 seconds.
Bryce Wilson coming over in coverage number 4 along with Rylan Jeter.
They got good protection that time, but just in that prevent defense, you're not going to get a lot of opportunities.
Undefeated a year ago at 12-0, 14-0 this year. Could be the final play of the game. Zekman finds a way to get it to Thompson. And Thompson's looking for somebody to lateral it to. He gets it back to Zekman, but that will be it. Central Valley, the Warriors will repeat as AAA champions in PIAA football. a year ago, 15-0 this season, 27 consecutive games. The last time they have lost was to Wyoming area 21-14 in the 2019 championship game here. Central Valley holds on and wins it 7-0.
Because. 2 syllables, 7 letters, so much meaning. Because is an explanation, an answer to the question why. It connects where we've been to where we're going. And at Highmark, the road ahead is altogether new. We are reinventing healthcare because it can be simpler, smoother, because it can do more. Get ready for healthcare that goes beyond care. Because life. Highmark, Blue Shield.
Ever wonder what it's like to live in Crawford County, Pennsylvania? Join us in December to uncover every corner of a region rich with history, culture, nature, all waiting for you in Crawford County. Explore the Keystone State with PCN, one neighborhood at a time. Watch Pennsylvania's Neighborhood, Crawford County, December 13th through the 17th. Visit PCNTV.com for more. PCN is everything Pennsylvania.
Mark Lyons and the Warriors are champions. And I'll tell you, I'll bet you those two, they got a great deal of respect. They're getting used to seeing one another. This was an old school backyard brawl, and it was won by Central Valley. And it was interesting, Jim. Both coaches expected, I think, what we saw here today. They both looked at it and said, it's going to come down to who wins that line of scrimmage. And, really it was Central Valley in the long run, or player of the game. And in a game that was just 7-0, this guy was certainly the difference. We're talking about Landon Alexander.
Yeah, he made the difference in this ball game. Great job, 28-yard touchdown run. The only points of the ball game, and You're going to see a lot of the running that he did all afternoon. He was very, very productive. He went above and beyond what he needed to do, and he's been that way all year. He's had a couple of 200-yard rushing games in the playoffs, and absolutely just dominated from the rushing position here today, and did a great job of getting through for that 28-yard TD. And as I said, he was outstanding, putting that team on his back today.
Player of the game sponsored by Lebanon Valley College, listed #1 in Pennsylvania for job placement. Lebanon Valley College will get
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed one of the greatest championship games in the history of PIAA football. What a brilliant performance by the Spartans of Wyomissing, the Warriors of Central Valley High School. Congratulations. At this time, Mr. John Ziegler, District 3 Football Chairman, would like Nevin Carter, Amory Thompson, Tommy Grabowski, Aiden Mack, Julian DeMaio, Jackson Miller to please step forward. Wyomissing, a record of 15-1. What an incredible season you have had. You walked into the stadium this morning as champions. You certainly leave today as champions. Congratulations to your 2021 PIAA runner-up, Wyomissing High School Spartans. And now, District 7 Chairman Scott Seltzer would ask that Bryce Wilson, Matt Merritt, Landon Alexander, Sean Fitzsimmons, Jack Bible step forward. A record of 15-0. Your 2021 PIAA AAA champion. Congratulations to the Warriors of Central Valley High School.
Back-to-back championships. Alexander, 35 carries, 231 yards, a touchdown. He averaged 6.6 yards per carry. His longest was 34. Jim, one of the things you and I have seen in these games, you get to this game of this magnitude, if there are weaknesses that you have, they just seem to be exposed. And for Wyomissing, I mean, they made their living on the ground, and when that's taken away from you, they didn't have that passing game to go to.
Yeah, and that's what happens is when you have a minimum amount of points in a game like this, and when you need to get quick strike and the time is going against you, you need to have that passing game to be able to go to. And that's what happens a lot of times at the games we've seen here. That's happened more than one time, and it's just a shame for Wyomissing. And both of these teams played an absolutely great game here today.
Mentioned earlier in our coverage that District 7 5 times has had 3 champions in 1 year, 2001, 2005, 2007. There were only 4 classes then, but 2017 again last year. Mount Lebanon gets another shot tonight. They take on St. Joe's Preps in the 6A. This is the 3rd champion of these championships out of District 7 for 2021. Certainly hope you enjoyed it. Congratulations to Central Valley champions in the 3A classification, 7-0 your final. On behalf of Jim Wills and all of us here at the Pennsylvania Cable Network, I'm Mike Zambelli. Thanks for joining us for PIAA Championship Football. Enjoy the remainder of your Saturday.